Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Wow, Margo Lovett, and I have a conversation that is going to kick off and have you hanging on to your desk or hanging on to your seat, because another conversation with one of the 25 women of power, powerful women that are being celebrated through the month of March by WomELLE magazine. And we'll know them throughout March, but you will know them throughout the rest of your days. And with me today is Adrienne Obey. My goodness. This dynamic lady is one of the administrators for over on Facebook, a Facebook group, Black Women Promote. And it is what I think she said 26,000 strong. But what I want to bring to everybody's attention is that Adrienne single-handedly took on a project, Women of Vision. I watched it mushroom overnight. So Adrienne, first of all, welcome and tell us about Women of Vision.
Oh, wow, Margo. Well, it was a project of love. It came from my heart. And we had our first our first vision event last year. And I wanted to do it again. And I just went to Tracy and said, Tracy, can I do it again? And she's like, yeah, go ahead, go for it, go for it. So it just kind of mushroomed. But the whole concept was to give back and to offer, information and knowledge and feeding and inspiration to women and to get people involved in doing things together. And it was amazing because the whole concept was the more you participate, the more you invite people, the more you have these chances to win. And it was just like a frenzy. It was so much fun just to see everyone jump in there together and make it happen. And the speakers were beyond beautiful.
That's what I was going to say. Your speakers, you didn't have to beg anybody to participate. How many speakers did you have, Adrienne? I mean, it was just like a list.
There were like 16 women at the end, I think. It was just amazing that we ended up with that many people participating and all beautiful speakers in their own right with their own messages. It was amazing. Fantastic experience.
Well, when I listened to as I would dip in and dip out, you did it over a weekend, and my jaw just dropped at the richness that is of women that are right there, Women in Vision, and up under the umbrella of, Black Women Promote. I love Black Women Promote. I love that whole umbrella, that whole house. I'd like to say everything is up under one roof, because you do encourage us to promote not only ourselves, but let's promote each other. So take us back. Where did Black Women Promote? Where did that come from anyway?
You know, the funny thing, Tracy Turner is actually the original creator of Black Women Promote. And I think it grew in spite of herself. One sister told another sister, who told another sister, told another sister. And I had gotten brought in, I guess, back in 2017. As a moderator. They had brought in a group of us. I think Tamika Chapman was one of them, and another girl who I think about all of it. Kat, the course builder, was one of us. There was a lot of Sheila Sherman was one of us. There was a lot of us, and it all just kind of dwindled down to I was the last man standing. And I think when Shantae Roddy left, I was just the next in line because I had already done so much and had stepped up and taken on that leadership role. And it just kind of smoothed me right on into it. And I'm like, great, I've got all these ideas. And can I make an announcement?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We are officially more than a Facebook group. We now have our own website, bwpdirectory.com, for Black business women across the world. You're all invited to come and put your Black business listing in the BWP directory. So
that's history making. Everything up under one umbrella so that we're not pulling a piece of information here and a piece of information from there.
Oh, and we've got big dreams for it too, Margo. Oh my gosh. We want to be able to promote people, not just in a directory, but so that we can have like exposés and so people can get to know who these beautiful business women are. There are so many of us all across the country working on our dreams and keeping our families alive. Yes. And we really want to do everything we can to uplift you and Yeah, there will be a little fee, but it will not be extraordinary. It's just pennies.
Well, you know what I found, Adrienne? If you don't have some skin in it, then it doesn't really mean that much to you.
Right.
So, I
Right.
mean, free is never free.
Yeah.
That's just, hey, you guys keep doing what you're doing, because the Monday night lives, you give people a chance to come on and teach or talk about their product. I think that I remember one woman making a testimony, and she said that before the Monday night lives and the Tuesday where you can come on and teach, she was very shy
You're
about
about to
doing
make me
any of that.
cry. I have heard that story. In fact, one of the girls, a couple of them actually, even Mary Fernandez, who I love, who has actually, I watched Mary flower in front of my eyes. I still remember when I shouted her out. She had just came in and she was always in the background and she said something about Mary Kay. And I was like, I wasn't Mary Kay. That's got me, girl. My Mary Kay story has had people in tears because I was a welfare mother. I had just gotten out of college. I had been on and I didn't want to be a welfare mother. My mother had been a welfare mother. And I said, I am not going to be on welfare. I will do whatever it takes not to show my child poverty. So I remember I lived in Alaska. I did
Mm.
not have a car. I had to carry those back then. The only way you can make sales was to carry them little pink boxes. I was
Yes.
telling Mary just last night, I remember being in a blizzard up in Anchorage, carrying them little pink boxes from Sand Lake all the way out to Muldoon. Anyone from Anchorage knows I'm talking miles to get from Sand Lake to Muldoon. And I did not have a car, but I had to take a couple of buses to get there. And I just remember one point I was on the, they always pile them up on the edge, and the snow was up to my waist. And I
Oh my.
started to cry.
Oh,
That's why
wow.
I'll never forget. I was like, God, just help me get there. I need this for to feed my baby. I got to the party. Lo and behold, 6 people were sitting there. And it turned out that 2 of the girls that were there were wives of the officers on the base.
Oh wow.
Girl, that party turned to 6 more parties, that turned to six
Oh
more
my.
parties, that turned to 6 more parties, that turned to 6 more parties. I was the #1 sales rep in Anchorage, Alaska that year. All because I didn't give up. Did not give up. Carrying them little pink bags. So I
In
was
that
up,
blizzard.
yes, in the blizzard. Isn't that a funny thing? And it's funny, during the vision event, my daughter spoke. And we
Okay.
talked about generational wealth as well, because as I said, I came from poverty. We had to bury my mom in a pauper's grave.
Mm.
And one of the first things my daughter did when she made her first, 50,000 or whatever it was, she went and got my mom a really beautiful headstone,
Mm.
because it was the least she could do. And I know that she does a lot because of my mother.
Mm.
But she's done amazing. My daughter, if the work I've done, going into blizzards with Mary Kay, and like she said, her first job was sticking stickers on cars, and I had a little thing going doing illegal stuff. But I had little cars everywhere. But
Yeah.
stuff like that has led her to being a $1 million business owner, and that makes my heart proud that my baby is going to carry on my legacy, probably even more than I've ever can imagine. And
Yes.
so it fills my heart what we do.
She showed you, you showed her the entrepreneurial spirit. She saw your moxie and your grit and your drive and your consistency, because you've been an entrepreneur, not only Mary Kay, but social media.
Yeah.
Here you are with Black women promote,
Yeah.
in position to just slide on in there, and look at the doors that are opening up for you, the ones that you are opening up for other women. They get a chance to come on there and talk about their books. Do you know? I don't know of any other platform that allows members that much exposure and
We
that
have to
much
give them that
proof of
experience.
concept.
Yes, we want that, Margo. People think, at first, I think they thought Black women promote. Yeah, it's a place I can just come promote and spam. No, it is a place we want to become like a promotional resource.
Yes.
I thought I'm not sure if I showed it yet, but I've actually created a mind map,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
going to show all the different types of services that we have available to you with Black Women Promote. If you want to promote your business as a Black female entrepreneur, we're going to give you multiple avenues to do that. And for very little, if anything. And
Yeah.
where else do you get
Yeah. Yeah.
that?
You have to invest in yourself. And when I realized the opportunity, I thought, I mean, I think the first time I was exposed to Black Women Promote, somebody told me about coming on talking about your book. And I thought, okay. And I think it wasn't much. And I took a deeper look at what was going on. And I thought, holy cow, you
Yeah.
can actually teach for $25. I mean, teach and let people see that you know what you're talking about. You can come and teach as often as you want to. Nobody's going to say, okay, shut it down. That's enough,
Yes.
and bring
Yes.
value. And when you look at the other women that come consistently, there's some sisters over there that come with it all the time.
Oh, it's
Man,
beautiful, beautiful. They touch my spirit. I mean, the funny thing is we're seeing them come in shy and
yeah,
demure, and then we're seeing them come out strong and confident and going out and holding their own events and all kind of stuff. It's beautiful. It's
it is.
beautiful. If
Yeah,
we can just keep that going and keep it growing and make people feel that they all have a chance to get involved. And that's what we want. We want them to know, look, you're all invited to get involved in this. Make this
yes,
movement stronger than we ever imagined it could be.
yeah,
And I really believe now with the website, we're going to do that. We're going to have a shop there. I've got this concept now. I'm just rolling these out. Me and Tracy are still talking these over, but I'm thinking we're going to try to set it up a little bit like a little Black Etsy where other people can put their products into the BWP shop because we
good.
know it's going to start drawing in more people when we have more people listed. So it'll become a resource. And that's really what we want. One
Oh,
place where people can go and know they're going to find people who are credible Black female businesses and they can
yes.
support them.
Oh, credible. That's the operative word. And when when she started to create the list of 25 powerful women to follow for the month of March, that's what she looked for. Everybody was vetted, even me, vetted. No, nobody could just say, well, I'm automatically going to end up on the list. No, she checked your digital footprint. She checked your print footprint.
Mhm.
And you had to show up consistently and strong. And there are women at BWP who are just like that. They're not playing, they're out the gate and doing it. And they're just like you, Adrienne. You even started, Miss Creator, you started the BWP podcast.
Yeah.
And I've been on it one time and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
We talked, and I mean, you did that. you
Yeah.
you are just innovating so many opportunities where people are meeting people, women where they are. So talk about the
I
podcast.
love it. It's so funny. I did not know when I came up with the idea it was going to end up the way it did, but it's kind of come up, started like our little version of the View, almost like a Black female View. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
just all sit around, start talking, and anything will come out. I mean, we've heard about people's husbands, the children, all kinds of stuff. There's
yeah,
nothing that's sacred there, and I love that. I love the honesty. I love the transparency. I love the cohesiveness of the group. I love it. In fact, today at 5 p.m. of Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Margo, you're invited to come and join me on the BWP podcast. We ain't been live for a minute, and I like to record something for March, and this should be a good week to do it. So
oh wow,
I love getting together with you women. We have now that was another idea. That came out of nowhere. I have my own podcast, as I'm sure you guys probably figured out. I've got hundreds of little podcasts out there, but I I had saw someone say in a group, "Well, the lives are great, but I don't want to go live because I don't want to show myself." And I thought,
mm,
wait, we are not giving a platform to women who don't want to show themselves. They should not be forced to. Everyone talks about going live, going live, going live. Nah, you can go have a podcast. Who said you can't be successful with a podcast? Who
yes,
said? There are people who do it all the time.
mm-hmm.
Oh. So I thought, let's get a podcast And I just went to Tracy, got the approval. Don't even know if I did. I just did it because she gave me carte blanche to do what I want. So I just went and started a podcast. And I think I put a list who wants to be in the podcast. The next thing I knew, we had 26 women. I think we got like 30 women now. It's crazy. And I think more will join because I get people asking, how do I get on your podcast?
Mhm.
So I think once I put another notice out there to see if we can pull in more blood into the group, I have a feeling it's going to grow up to like 50, 60 people.
Oh yeah,
I can feel it.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can feel it.
And they need to people, we need people to participate. It's that
Yeah,
consistent participation. That's what makes it good for
yeah,
everybody. And the hard work that you and Tracy put into building out the platform for everyone,
yeah.
giving us a reason to even come to Facebook. I'm going to tell you the truth. BWP gives me the reason to come over there. So, and you make it so worth it. I see with Women of Vision, I saw women and heard women I never met before.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, they don't do the Monday Night Lives. I haven't seen them teaching, but they are there and they are giving. So you're gaining traction there, lady. You are
I
gaining
love
traction.
it. That's
Man.
wonderful. The funny thing is, it's one thing to do something for yourself, and we can all sit around and boast about what we did and don't do, and what we make and don't make. Who cares? But it's a whole different feeling when you're doing it in a group concept. Like it's not just for me; it's for everybody. Like it's going to grow us exponentially as women, and we'll create a path for the people behind us.
Yes.
So I think about that all the time because I've got my daughter, right? And I want to set a path that she's proud to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
that's important to me. And I think if we look at it that way and also just help bring our sisters out of poverty. I will
Yes.
not mention any names, but I could tell you there was one situation, I think it was even with the podcast, and we have the $5 a month, for the podcast. And she had messaged me privately and said she did not have $5, and I broke down and cried.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And the fact is, there are people out there are women out there, are women out there struggling to get that next 5, 10, 15, $20.
Yeah.
I want to figure out a way to make sure that does not happen. We
Mm-hmm.
should not have to go through that. I joke about my stripes, the stripe. That's a big thing right now, me and the stripe. But there is nothing more fulfilling than getting that message from, say, Stripe when it says, your money will arrive on Friday
Yeah.
and it's going to be XYZ amount of money. That's a great feeling. It's not that it's a lot, it's the fact that that even when you're busy doing XYZ, that their money still is coming in. That's
Yes.
that's a certain feeling that I'm building this independence in the future, that it can happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I want everyone to experience that, where they don't have to work so hard, and that these, for whatever reason, they're getting these little Stripe payments. Maybe they're with JV Zoo, or maybe they're with ClickBank, or maybe they're with, in my case, I've got digital products all over the place. So it's usually like $5, $8, $17. But it's the fact that they come in all the time.
It
So it's
adds
like
up.
it's the joy.
Mm-hmm. Plus,
Like, thank
it's
you.
proof of concept. I mean, you can tell somebody else, you can start here. A lot of people talk about affiliates. Well, it may
Yeah.
not make a lot of money for you from the beginning, but get started. And
Yes.
that's something that you've done. I see your footprint, that you get these ideas. You
Yeah.
have other women in.
Oh, I think I lost Marco. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There we go.
okay. So yeah,
There we
for a
go.
minute we froze.
Yeah, we
For
did.
a
I'm
minute.
like,
I'm looking at the time. It says my internet connection is unstable. I don't know what's going
oh,
on here.
okay.
There's been so many problems with internet connections these days because everybody's on it. But I'm looking at the time. I just want to ask you one final question. What is the power? What can you say about collaborations? Tell us about the power of collaborations, what you've discovered thus far.
Okay. Collaboration is everything. I can tell you, I sat online for the first few years trying to do it all by myself. And I applaud women who can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you tend to get lonely, and some give up. You lose your a lot of people lose their ambition, right? All those no's, and if you don't have a good support system. So what I love about collaboration is that you get a support system. If you're working on a project, you're not on that project alone. You're on that project with this one and that one and that one. And it brings a certain sense of responsibility to your partner or to your collaborator. I've got a couple of collaborations on the burner that I didn't start because I couldn't give my all to them. One is with a young lady named Pamela Strand, who has a recruiting agency. And I bet she forgot me. If she listens to this, she'll know I have not forgotten her. And then another one is with a hypnotist, Laverne Henderson, who I went to work with my perceptive guidance business. And that's to have a whole different take on what I offer than just being an astrologer. So, it's crazy. You can do collaborations in all types of things. So there's a recruiting business, there's an astrology, a hypnotist business. There's all different reasons and ways we can benefit from doing the collaborations, because then we're not taking all of that brunt of that business on our own back. So whatever I can do to diversify like that, I'm going to do it, because it'll open me up to do other things, right? So yeah.
I'm thinking that's why it's so important for us to you and Tracy have created this fabulous platform where you can discover women. I never would have met you, I don't think, except over at BWP. But then the collaborations come in when you get to know, like, and trust, the old adage. But you see a person keep coming up and around, and you love their energy, and you get an idea and you say, we can do that, or at least pitch it to them. And if we can't do it now, we'll do it later. That's magical.
I love it. I love it. I can tell you that me and Mary Fernandez, we're planning some type of Mary Kay adventure. She explained it to me. I didn't get it. I just said yes to it because it sounds fun. Just know that there's going to be something to do with beauty and fun and building up your personal development and self-esteem. We're going to be working on that.
That's going to be good. So many women. I read an article, 2 million women displaced or had to leave the workplace last year. So you know what that did for some people's self-esteem, how they look. I mean, you can only wear your pajamas so long, and then you have to come up out of them. But how do you do that? So that's going to be very, very important, very important. Yes. Help bring a person, reconnect. When you look good, you reconnect with your spirit, with who you are.
Oh my gosh, I was just telling her, Mary, last night about something Mary Kay said years ago. Mary said this about the Great Depression, because she had actually survived the Great Depression.
Wow.
And one of the things about that time was that no matter how poor a woman was, no matter how down and out they were, she would give her all to get that last tube of lipstick.
Yeah.
Meant everything. And I can sense that even amongst us now, we cannot give up on feeling good about ourselves. That self-care, that self-love, feeling good and feeling beautiful to yourself. Yes. That's more important than what anybody else thinks about you. Who cares what they think? Worry about what you think. Because if you can't get up every day, put your makeup on, put your clothes on, and feel good about yourself, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
They've been talking about this COVID blues or COVID crud or whatever it is that people have developed, like almost an illness from being in this situation, in this pandemic, being in house, like you said, wearing your laundry, your pajamas, and not going outside, not interacting with people. There's so many things that have developed, like mental problems, emotional problems, because of this experience. And so it's a lot of personal development we'll have to work on as a people, I think.
Well, I tell you what, I'm all things podcasting, but if I can bring something to the table, include me in, because we have to join forces and be there for our sisters, since there's so many in that predicament. So that's I'll DM you, you DM me, and we'll go on from there. Since both
Yeah.
of us are part, you are the administrator at Black Women Promote, which is a robust group of 26,000 women on Facebook. And you set up Women a Vision. I watched that just grow in a matter of days, as a matter of fact. And you've
Yeah.
given voice to women who felt as though they couldn't be a part of a live conversation, let alone open up and actually speak on something very dear to them, something in their wheelhouse. You've done so much. You've done so much. Thank you to you. Thank you to Tracy. Like I say, I'll say it a million times, BWP is the only reason why I'm over there on Facebook, but I don't want to miss anything. You guys are innovative. You are open and warm. I haven't seen anybody cut down. I haven't seen anybody belittled over there. And it's well managed. It's not the wild, wild west over there, so.
I'm
So,
really grateful to hear that. Thank you so much. I can't wait to share this with Itika and Tracy because it's good to know that other people see the work that we're doing and they know that we're sincere in the work that we're doing because it's not a paid job. We are doing this from our heart. What a little bit of money we might make from events, great, but it's not like it's a paid job. I do it because I want to help and give back in whatever way that I can. And if I can uplift just one person to go out there and shine, oh my gosh, that makes me feel like I've done something miraculous.
wow, I tell you, Adrienne Obey, you are dynamic. I thank you for this time. It's no wonder that they chose you to be one of the 25 powerful women to watch the month of March. It is absolutely no wonder. I forgot to tell people that you are an astrologer. You've been one for over 40 years. You know about videos and websites, all things social media. So your wheelhouse is quite vast. Quite
Yes,
vast.
yes.
So,
In fact, if you go to adrienneobhq.com, my headquarters, you might get confused because there's so many different things like coaching for weight loss, coaching for business, coaching. But I've done all those things. I'm also the lady that lost the 300 pounds, and so I keep that because you never know when there's somebody out there that needs you for that.
yeah.
All the other stuff is great, but all they need is that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. And it took me years to pull out of that mindset where I thought it was over. Like, just don't care what I look like. I was over 500 pounds, Margo.
Wow. Oh, wow. I never would have known it. Never
And
would have thought it.
I willed
Beautiful
myself.
woman.
Thank you so much. I willed myself out of the wheelchair and I started dancing and I always tell the story. At first it was 45 seconds I could stand and dance. And after that, one day led to a next and next. And I danced for hours. I mean,
Oh,
I
wow.
love it. And especially at this age, it's a blessing and I'm grateful.
Oh,
Very grateful.
what a way to end this conversation. I'll tell you, you're just full of nuggets and helping women from A to Z. Adrienne Obey, HQ.com. That's where they can find you. Roll on over to Black Women Promote over on Facebook and be a part. Don't just like and park it there. Participate because there's so much going on over there. Wow. Well, another fabulous conversation. I have such a hard time ending these conversations. These women that I've had a chance to speak with, they are powerful powerhouses. Their footprint goes very, very deep. And wow, I'm Margo Lovett. I'll be back with another conversation. In the meantime, stay safe. Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you, Margo.